Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roll 'em If You Got 'em. I am Dakota, and as always, I am joined by Carl.
Hello.
And in this video, we are going to go through my first slap chop that I've ever done, and I have slap chopped a Mormont She-Bear from A Song of Ice and Fire. So I started out with a Rust-Oleum flat gray black primer, and then I went right to the Vallejo neutral gray. Started throwing this on. Once I threw it on, it was a little too dark for what I was going for. But I got some pretty good coverage on it. Just kind of started using it as that initial highlight, getting it pretty much everywhere on the model that I could. Uh, with that, just trying to pick out most of the high spots, kind of using it to set the foundation.
Yeah, I think when I do my slap chops, my gray goes most places.
Yeah.
I don't leave a lot black, just deep recess kind of stuff.
Yep. I went from that onto Ultwan Gray. This is a lot lighter gray, and it actually, started to pick out a lot of those raised areas a lot better. With that neutral gray, it was very dark compared to the black, which is a lot darker than I thought it was going to be. So once this, as you can see, it starts going on here, it's definitely pulling out a lot of those details, really picking it out. After that, then I went on to some white scar. This is kind of the final top layer, really just trying to brighten up every one of those edges that's on the model.
So I was pretty confused when I first started to edit the video because I was thinking I missed something, and eventually I text Dakota and I'm like, "Hey, did you do like 3 colors for your slap chop?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did a gray, and then I went to a lighter gray, and then a white." And I'm like, "Okay, calm down, overachiever, for your first
well,
attempt."
well, it wasn't that I wanted to do 3. It was more of the fact that I did the first one. I was like, "Oh, that's not light enough. It's too dark." And then I was like, "I gotta step it up here." And then, as you can see too, I initially did the model, and then I went back and actually did it some more just because it was way too dark starting out. So I went and put more layers on it, dry brushed it some more. Um, After that, I started with Dark Angel's green contrast, basically picking out the few green details. It's mostly this under tunic and the sleeves of her shirt that she's wearing. Started out picking those out. Those were kind of like the deepest portions when I went for them first, especially kind of on that by the legs.
So that other model, I'm assuming you want your she-bears to have like a really uniformed look.
So yeah, comparing it side by side, this is an original model that I just painted contrast with the race bone underbase. I was really doing the same color scheme because just so I could have a good side by side comparison. And a lot of them either have the green or like an ultramarines blue. When I figured I'll just do green on this one, so we have a good comparison. Next, I went to this Basilicanum gray just on these fur areas that she has on her thighs. Really not much gray on the model. Just a couple spots. Next, I went to Wildwood contrast. With this, I was picking out her chest plate really, because it's like a leather chest plate. There, and then it dips a little bit lower. So I was really just picking those out, trying to just focus on the body of the model originally. I do come back to Wildwood later for the fur cape, but I didn't want to put that on too early. That way, if I put my hand on it or put a finger on it, I wasn't gonna mess it up.
Yeah,
Oh, and then I also used it on her boots as well.
that makes sense. Not painting the big back piece of the model like
Yeah,
that, just not yet.
yeah. Normally, well, I wouldn't say normally I would, but I was just like, it's just such a big portion of the model. I was gonna do it last. And then I come in with snakebite leather. I pick out kind of the middle portion. There's like, you can kind of see it there. It's like strings on the tunic. They're holding that leather together.
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of adds a little bit because that's what I did on the original models. And then I pick out the belt and like this knife sword thing and the pouch on the side. Um, and the gloves. I was pretty happy with that. I think the one thing doing the slap chop, I think I'd go back through and maybe um, get a little bit more, just take a brush and get a little bit more white on those. Because looking at the model, it's hard to see in the video. They're very flat compared to that wildwood. Like you can see the difference,
Hmm.
but it just doesn't stand out as much.
Yeah. So one of the tricks you can use that is you can do like going into your shading for the slap chop. Like one of the things hanging off her belt, you could leave that in kind of the gray, and then the
Mhm.
other one you can hit that with a bunch of the white, and then you can hit them with the same paint, but you get two
Yeah,
different colors coming out
right.
of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I totally should have did that. And then I hit the underside of that cloak as well with the snake bite leather. Um, and even kind of going off of that, go right onto her face with Gilliman flesh. I should have as well done that on the face, put just a little bit more lighter color on her face because on the sides, you might be able to see it later. It's very dark on her cheeks in those crevices, which it works. Um, and then after the face, I just go into her hair with Griffound Orange. I love that for like a orange color type of hair, and these are northern women, so I was really trying to get a bright hair color. And then I come back to Wildwood for the cloak um, and basically get that completely coated.
It's pretty nice.
Um,
I'm assuming bear skin cloak, right?
yeah, that's what I assume. I have a few variations on the other unit I painted. I've done them in brown, black, and gray just to mix it up a little bit on what it is.
Sure.
So I pick out the bear cloak. There's some fur that like peeks around to the front, and then I also pick out the handle of the mace at some point also uh, with that wildwood as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
It's a
wildwood is pretty great. It's a very dark contrast
how
paint.
how long total you think it took you to paint this model?
Uh,
Because it looks like in
I
the videos, it looks like you do it pretty quick.
all in maybe 20 minutes. I mean,
Nice.
there's not a lot of different colors. I really try to limit the amount of colors. Um, Even with slap chopping, it was pretty quick. And then, as you can see from the pictures too, I went back and I put some lead belcher down on the chainmail on her arms, chest, and knees, and then covered it with normal oil.
Gotcha. Okay, so the model you just did is on the left. The one you've done
Mhm.
before is on the right. The one on the right, is that just flat primed with that same gray primer?
No, it is flat. It is just straight primed with the wraith bone primer, so it is a very bright color.
Hmm.
Um, and really, when you look at the two, I mean, there's a very the older one is a lot brighter compared to the new one. And the new one too, as you can tell, it has a lot more depth on the cloak on the inside there, like along her body. And I think it actually like smoothed out some of the colors even on the green and the chest plate as
I
well.
was gonna say for sure the inside of the cloak looks so much cooler. The
For sure.
hair, granted, I know the other one's a lighter hair color. The
Hmm.
hair, I think, looks much better on the slap chopped.
Hmm.
And yes, the green of the cloak looks much more like fabric and smooth, especially when you're looking at that part at the knee there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Those are the three biggest areas that just I really like the way that the slap chop looks over the flat primer.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought too it almost seemed easier to paint and not pool in a way. I don't know if you ever use contrast, you're always kind of thinking like don't let paint pool because then you got to like soak it up, or if you go back and brush it off, it might like leave those weird stains.
Hmm.
I didn't feel like I had that doing the slap chop. It was very much put the color on and it went where I wanted to, and it wasn't doing a lot of weird stuff, which was awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty good looking model. Good job.
Yep, thank you. Um, Anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap this one up?
I don't believe so.
Awesome. So there you guys have it as the first She-Bear or first model that I've slap chopped being a Mormont She-Bear.
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Cut to outro. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to do the YouTube things for us. Like, subscribe, drop a comment on the video. There are links below to our Discord channel. You come in, chat with us, hang out. If there's anything special you'd like to see, it's a great place to put it. And follow us on Instagram. Until next time, bye.